Alright, thank you very much. Hello everybody, it's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm back in action with a different kind of movie review this time. You know, we've reviewed movies that have come to theater near you. We like to do some of the more common movies. That way, if you're looking at my movie reviews, you're not wondering, gosh, never heard of that movie before. We do some of the forgotten classics, but this time we're doing one of those special event movies. You know, those Fathom events that come to theaters all over the nation. And of course this one is based off of RiffTrax Live Sharknado. These are some of the best events to go to. Let me tell you something. I was a big fan of Mystery Science Theater way back in the day. I mean, let's face it, they're still touting that title to this day. You wonder why they just don't bring back Mystery Science Theater. They're going to do the same thing. You know, it's nothing really changed. The only thing that changed is that nobody's in front of it, and there's no robots. It's just the actual people this time, which is all well and good. We love the riffing, and I love that they came up with that name, or maybe that name was always there. That when you make fun of something while you watch it, you're riffing it, and it's really funny, and it's just really original and really enjoyable to watch. Sharknado itself, by itself, is a very crazy movie. I've never actually watched Sharknado straight out, so I don't know what really happens in that movie. So watching both the movie and their riffing of it at the same time kind of made my head explode, because it was trying to really gauge what was happening and what they were making fun of. Both together was just pure gold. You know, Sharknado is one of those movies that's really designed to be made fun of, because it's a parody. You know, this is one of the most intelligent parodies I've ever seen, and that's not saying much, because considering how stupid parodies can be. Things like, you know, epic movie, superhero movie, not another teen movie. Oh, that was a good movie. You know, this is a movie, Sharknado, by itself now, that's making fun of horror movies. It's really not a horror movie per se. It's a comedy, of course. It's meant to be, but, you know, it doesn't come off as, you know, for one thing, they're not referencing another movie directly as much as those really bad parody movies do. This is a movie that takes a story of its own, the idea of sharks coming out of tornadoes. Of course, in the beginning, it's a hurricane, then it's water spouts, and finally the tornado shows up at the very end of the movie. I was wondering what took it so long. The one moment that really made me realize what Sharknado was when the lady over the radio was telling people that Los Angeles was being pummeled, you know, pounded in by the eye of the storm. And of course, Mike J. Nelson makes fun of it, saying, yes, folks, the eye of the storm, the most dangerous part of a storm. So, you get it. The comedy is very subtle in Sharknado. The stupidity of it is what's supposed to make it funny. Doesn't really work for me ultimately, but what makes it funnier is the RiffTrax Live by Mike J. Nelson, Bill Corbett, and of course Kevin Murphy. Now, the whole thing starts off with a short about springs. You ever remember the old Simpsons? You remember one time Krabappel wanted people to show, didn't want to teach, so she just showed a movie, and it was a movie based off the importance of zinc. You know, all of a sudden, this one boy was visited by the zinc fairy, and he took zinc out of all of the world, so now nothing had zinc in it. So the guy couldn't, you know, take certain medicines. He couldn't shoot himself because guns need zinc to shoot. And he wanted zinc to come back. Well, that's what the first short was about. It was about springs. This guy was angry that he was fixing springs. And, you know, this was back in the 1950s. So maybe even earlier than that. So when something breaks, you had to fix it yourself. His couch broke the spring, so he had to fix it himself. And that was the first part I thought was hilarious. The second part was he gets visited by this crazy spring fairy that to this moment I can't think about without laughing, who takes away springs. And that's not the worst of it, okay? So because he goes through his life about what his world would be like if there were no springs. But then he realizes the importance of springs. He goes, joins his buddies for golf, And he talks about springs the whole time, and his buddies are so annoyed by it, and it's so hilarious to hear them riff on this because it was so stupid. This is all stupid stuff, and they make fun of it like geniuses, and it was hilarious. I enjoyed it. I know it's not in theaters anymore. However, Sharknado at RiffTrax.com, Sharknado, you can buy it, and I do recommend seeing this. It is hilarious. They're at the top of their game. Is it all over? Of course not. These guys, I think, took a little break during the April, May season. I think their last one was the Santa Claus, and now they're back. They did Sharknado, and now they're doing Godzilla next. So that's going to come in August, I believe August 14th, but don't quote me on that. Keep an eye on fathomevents.com, rifftrax.com. Follow them on Twitter and keep an eye on their stuff because it is comic gold here. How good is it exactly? Well, let me tell you this simply. They make me so laugh, it hurts. Literally, I walk out there with a little bit of a headache. Back of my head, I laugh so hard, I can hardly breathe. It's just awesome stuff. And if you haven't seen it yet, you definitely need to see the next RiffTrax Live, Godzilla, coming in August. Alright guys, that's it for me for now. We will see you at the theaters.